Good evening, everyone. We'd like to call the Stormwater Board meeting for the town of Cedar Lake to start today on September 13th, 2022. If you would please get out of your seats and place the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, starting off with roll call.
Ryan Leasack.
Here.
Patrick Conlon.
Here.
Benji Kinchelow.
Here.
Don Oliphant.
Here.
Chris Saladas.
Here.
Eric Bosma.
Here.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
And Chris Vicky. Here.
All right, in review of the minutes from August 9th, did everyone have a chance to review them? Can I receive a motion to pass the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 9th meeting.
And I'll second it.
All right.
Okay, Ryan Leasack.
Yes.
Patrick Conlon.
Yes.
Ben Kinchelow.
Yes.
Okay, jumping right into old business, we have the drainage issues at 9080 West 129th.
So we have signed easements now on the two parcels we need. The last one just came in late last week.
Yeah, approved by the council.
Yep. So we have easements from the Sadzeks and the Creases. So we need to tweak our plan to get around the middle parcel, which didn't grant an easement. So we will proceed with the project if that's still your wishes.
Since we split from the last meeting that we had talked about this, can we just give a brief update as far as what we're looking at for cost, what the town share was?
So I think it was going to be 100% a town share. So, but I think Tim's going to handle it in-house. Since it's pretty much right at his parcel. So, I mean, we had an estimate from last year, and this is if it was quoted out around 40. That'll be substantially less if it's handled by Public Works. There'll be some field changes, most likely to get around some trees on Tim's parcel and the parcels that granted easements. So it won't look exactly like the original plan, especially with the middle parcel basically saying no. So it's going to jog back onto Tim's parcel and then maybe stay on Tim's parcel. From there, it doesn't make sense of jogging back to the one easement. We have it if we need it, but it's most likely going to stay on Tim's line all the way out to the railroad ditch.
Okay.
That's the plan. And we have HDPE in there, and it's just a matter of really material availability at this point, this late in the season, if we can even get it done this year. It'll be tight. We've got a couple other things that Public Works are kind of doing right now, and over the next week or two or three, for some dig out stuff, so it's going to be smooth. Be nice to get it in before the spring rains, but I'll have to coordinate with Public Works, see if they can get out there or not.
Okay, do we want to make a motion to approve the project? I'll make a motion to vote on the project, if yes or no, by the board. So just do a roll call for that.
I think somebody else has to make the motion, because you're the chair, unless you only got two people here.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to proceed with the drainage project at 9080 West 129th.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Ryan Leasack.
Yes.
Pat Conlon.
Yes.
Ben Kinchelow.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we will see if we can get to it this year.
All right. Moving on to update items. Anything related to the Chuck Becker property at 7513 West 136th Avenue?
It's pretty much on hold until we can earmark funding for it, and then we'll have to go down the easement acquisition for, I believe, 2 or 3 parcels.
Understood.
So it's on,
All right, moving up to Schubert and Dodge Street.
so a long-term project. When we, have time to get to it, we'll get to it. It's gonna be a combination of televising, if we can actually get a camera into it. Just figuring out where stuff is, because we're not 100% sure we know where that one pipe is. But I haven't heard any complaints for the guy who was the initial, guy who brought it up on Dodge, right? The corner right there.
No, Dale, no.
So, I mean, it's functioning, but it's also been rather dry the last couple of months, so, we'll look at it probably this fall sometime, I can't guarantee when.
Okay, we'll keep that on update items.
And the back truck's been down for a while.
It's still down?
No.
It's back.
We got it back now, but,
It probably needs to be jetted out or something before we can even, because I think you guys tried to camera it and it didn't go too far.
yeah, that was a year or two ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure hasn't gotten better.
no, good, no.
I think it's CMP line,
Yeah,
which means the bottom's probably clear going.
yeah.
So it's gonna be a larger scale fix, I think, than just changing a line out
I
or,
think so too.
because I mean, we have inlets on Dodge and Lake Shore that sit high that don't actually really catch much runoff, so they need to be adjusted, and it's not just that intersection, it's that entire line that needs to be evaluated and see what we can do about it.
Okay, keep that on update items as well. Moving on to the Woods of Cedar Creek. Was there any review in the upcoming budget?
So that was actually an item I was gonna save until we get to new business. We have a rough idea of, or a rough approximation of the monies that will be available to the Storm Board next year. But until the council adopts their budget, it's only a rough estimate at this time, because the council budget will essentially dictate how much money we're freeing up in the Storm Board's budget.
When does that go to vote?
We are looking to do a public work session on September 27th at 6 p.m. And then it will go for adoption before the council in the month of October. So it will be adopted by the end of October, tentatively.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Moving on to Julie Ann Gibbons, 6425 West 145th Street.
That kind of goes back to the back truck. Back truck's been back for,
Yeah, we need to back it and then re-camera it, so, once we do that,
How old is the back truck?
2013?
that was 10 years.
They've had a lot of problems with it, and we're probably needing to look at maybe a new one.
Yeah, it originally wasn't the one that Tony wanted. That was the cheapest one they could get. I mean, the last few years, it's been really used a lot, and I think that's why, because we're using it more often, that things are just breaking.
Very versatile piece of equipment.
The first one we had, I got lottery money to pay for the first one we got.
So I know they were talking about it, because that's more of the sewer department's truck. I know they were talking about it. I know they bought their crane truck this year, so I don't know what Tony was talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's something you guys like to talk about.
Was it purchased brand new?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
They just wanted a prettier one, I think.
yeah. But I mean, we keep using it a lot more for other stuff as well.
Well, we can't reach the deepest lift stations in town.
That's
No,
one of the problems.
That's one of the huge problems that they're having, like with Station 8, they're having problems with, they won't go all the way down. So they want to get a bigger one. I know Tony mentioned something that he would like to fix what's wrong with it and then sell it to a smaller municipality, and then we can get another one.
Are they cheaper than fire trucks?
They're much cheaper than fire trucks, but they're a lot more expensive than your traditional truck. I mean, you're looking at $300,000 to $400,000.
One of the major
It's
signs.
$125,
They went up in price a bit.
but that was in '94.
Yeah.
We were pricing some out, they were 700.
Whew. But that's for the clean energy ones, right? No?
No.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah, clean trucks just bought a bunch.
I mean, it would be nice because we're using it for potholing, for finding water.
Oh, it's an incredibly necessary piece of equipment, vital to our operations.
I mean, so unfortunately, it's a lot of wear items that are wearing out on it. The PTO was the last one that wore off,
Oh, gosh.
so that's why we were waiting. And then it's more complicated now to find parts for it.
So it's on Tony's radar. We had an internal utility meeting last week. He's aware of it.
Because they're just as distraught about it as we are, because if they need it, especially for them guys, if they needed an emergency at 2 o'clock in the morning,
It's gotta work.
yeah, and if it's broke down, they gotta farm it out.
It's not cheap.
And they have farmed it out quite often in the past, so.
$2,000 a day.
mhm.
It's incredible.
I mean, that's one of the, like you said, that's the top of the list of equipment that should be new and maintained all the time. So,
You guys got that from Standard?
yeah, no, I don't know, I know that, but it's Vector, I think they got it straight from Vector.
Okay.
In fact, Vector's having their classes next week that I think we're supposed to go to,
South Bend, right?
learn how to operate, and, no, it's in Romeoville.
Okay.
They have one at Vector
Yeah.
that I wanted to go to because it actually will show you how it's made and walk you through the plant, and, we weren't able to get to that one, it was already full, so.
And we were sending it to a company that
Yes,
didn't perform well, and then you found
yes,
Tim found this other company, and
yeah,
It's a local guy, I think, right?
yeah, Jay and,
Check.
but he's got kind of a small shop too, and he's really busy.
They're gonna say Vector's having like a year-end clearance event.
We'll start with the crane truck process.
Yeah,
Like,
just
send you
start
a-
now, then, yeah. But it is up and running, Tyler and I, when we get a chance, we're gonna go over there, and we'll check that line back out. I don't know what you wanna do with the ditch on the other side by the new house.
Just gotta clean it out. I mean, it's kind of filled in, isn't it?
Yeah, and we were actually over there last week, and the owner of that house made 2 driveways now. Like, it goes around the pole. So now there's another culvert pipe, a driveway,
That was on the site plan.
and then the original. So I don't know if that was like, now that's their driveway, and we're just using that to drive trucks in and out, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they definitely had one entrance on the site
Yeah,
plan.
now there's 2,
Awesome.
so,
Yeah, I think you might just use your minion to dip it out, not a deep ditch by any means.
yeah, we did that a couple years ago, and then it just got filled
So
up
that,
back in.
yeah, I mean, it takes all that stuff from that upstream kind of forested area, so, not surprised, but,
So, I mean, we'll go clean it out, the ditch, and then clean that pipe out, and then we'll have Tony and Kyle camera it again. And
okay.
see, do you wanna go any farther back behind your house again, or?
Yeah, I would take that as far as you can go to the southeast.
Okay.
And there's a line going southeast, and then that one that jogs north,
Yeah,
and then the one that goes under.
because Tim King actually brought it to my attention this week that farther down 145th, where it's kinda like that little makeshift pond, right before you get to the forest, that, there's a collapse, they're collapsing out too. So I don't know if that whole road is gonna be in the works, but, because we're gonna have to place a culvert pipe there
It's not a
too.
master plan, but it's at least third in line. So.
I mean, because we're gonna.
You're talking millions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, well, that one
Should
shouldn't
be
be
$1 million behind.
So we could probably do that one at the same time too, because that one's just going into the woods and then into that little.
All right, I'll swing out there later this week.
We put coal patch over the top of it today, just so it'll hold, but it's.
Oh, the road's going?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's our
the
DMP.
council president found it a week ago.
Yeah.
Huh. With this truck?
With me, Cadillac, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that. I'll be out there Thursday.
All right, we'll keep that one on update items as well. As we look to Public Works project, on the Bungie property, 14619 Bell Place, I was informed by the Public Works Department that he is going to be notified that he has to pay for the pipe, and locates were called out, and his share is gonna be the pipe, and then that the town would do the work, and he would have to get with Tim Kubiak on that to schedule that. Anything else to add to that project?
He may need to have it relocated again. I think locates only lasts 2 weeks. So,
I mean, if they're in good shape, you don't have to call it back
No,
in,
but,
I mean,
did NIPSCO actually come and do the line like they?
I haven't been over to look, but I think
Apparently there was no issue with locates that I know of.
Okay.
so, I mean, I told Tim I was ready to go over there. As soon as we get the pipe, we'll go over there and do it, just get it done, so.
Just a question, did you hear from NIPSCO or 811 that there was no issues, or did Mr. Bungie say that there was no?
I was not notified of any issues, but I didn't call in the locate, so they won't contact me, they'll just contact him
Yep.
Directly.
directly.
There's no notification that would be able to say that there isn't any issues, as you're taking someone's word for it, and then the town goes out there, digs something, does something, and screws something up.
Well,
I can look at the locate online, I can find the locate that he called in, and I can look at the
Oh,
responses
okay.
from the
Yeah.
different,
and locates have been particularly bad this year. I don't think the locate companies have the best staff right now.
no,
We've been having missing unmarked utilities all year, everywhere.
and they're very slow.
Pretty bad. So, take it for what it's worth.
All right, yeah, I would just suggest that it would be checked third party instead of from someone's word somehow.
Agreed.
Okay.
Going to 9402 West 141st Place.
The Public Works has not located.
This one, Tyler and I went out there today and looked at, and I don't know where the water would go. I mean, I don't know if his whole idea behind fixing this is to fill up that little ravine or whatever.
He has no idea. There's just something buried out there, I
But
think.
I spoke to Dave, that's been here for like 30 years, and he said that he thought that maybe it goes underneath the playground and like comes out to the other street.
Well, there's a flare out there on the south side of 141st Place, you can see.
So, but I don't know, it should be buried.
It is buried. I think it's buried on the west side of his driveway. I think he filled in that ditch line on the
I
north
think
side
it
of the
was
road.
filled in. Now, I don't know if there's any issues of flooding there, but I mean, if he's concerned about the ditch or hole or whatever that is, if we go to put a ditch in front of his house, I mean,
Well, you either reestablish the ditch or stick a structure to tie in his driveway culvert to the cross culvert on 141st Place.
because, I mean, if the water really is flowing through there, isn't it gonna flood out the,
It probably does flow to an extent right now, because there is a pipe going under his driveway that sort of drains that area. It's quite a bit higher, I think, but it does go west, and then that one flared end section on the south does go north,
I mean,
and I think they meet somewhere.
ultimately, because some people have ditches, some people don't, some people have culvert pipes, some people don't. I mean, I would rather have it flow around and then go back to 141st, but that would be, you would have to reestablish everybody's ditch lines. There's just nowhere for the water to go anywhere there.
Well, we either try to find where those two meet on the west side of the driveway, or install a new culvert to drain that lower, and likely drain it south.
I mean,
Because it wants to go through the park. Like, the drains are pretty clear going down.
I mean, we have the metal detect where that other pipe goes to, I have no idea, I mean, I looked at it, it's like right where you said, but,
I mean, there could be a chance that it could be under the edge of his driveway. I
yeah.
don't know, because that's a brand new driveway, or relatively within the last year.
I remember when they were redoing that house, that there was a ditch there. And then they I think they filled it in when they remodeled the house.
Yeah, so it's a self-inflicted wound in a way.
Yeah.
So if he wants that to drain, we're gonna have to dig that out and find it.
Yeah,
And either reestablish it or slap a yard drain in there.
and that's
That's
what I,
But you'll have to pay for it, right?
Should.
yeah.
If he, I mean, I don't know 100% that he filled it in, but there's a good chance, because I don't think we did it.
Because Tyler made a good point today, he's like, the whole point that he wanted to do this was to fill that area in. But now we're filling that area in to dig a hole literally right in front of his house. So I don't know if that's something that he's okay with.
I don't think you can fill in that inner radius thing, because you're just gonna push it somewhere else.
That's what I was afraid of, because I know he came in a couple of years ago and talked to Tom about this, and Tom says, we can't just be filling holes in.
Because I think part of the road drains to it.
I
It
think
doesn't have
so.
curves, so we can't
Yeah.
fill it in. We have to reestablish that connection. And it probably drains in some form or fashion still,
Yeah.
even though it's been buried.
I mean, we tried looking on the other side of it, farther away from his driveway for a pipe, but we would have to,
GPS and the
we'd have to look a little harder.
It's there, I mean, you can look at older topo, and there's definitely a ditch
Yeah.
there. So,
It's just, I don't know if he's something that he would be okay with, you know, finding that pipe in his yard, we'd have to dig it up, have to find it,
I
dig it
don't
up.
think it's really up to him, it's in our public right of way. So, and then if he did fill it in, he should pay for the damages to it as well. Just kinda is what it is.
I mean, he hasn't been here in the last couple of meetings, so I don't know, I can't really ask him any questions, so.
He only came here the one time.
And looking from the GIS, I think it's a rental property as well.
Yep.
So even if we went to the door and talked to the guy that actually lived there, I don't know if he's,
It's not gonna be the owner.
yeah,
Likely not.
yeah, and he's not gonna have any answers.
Did the owner come in, or was this the rental property?
I don't know, I've never,
We'd have to look at old minutes, I don't remember his
That
name.
wasn't that long ago, was it?
no.
About three?
No, because we told this guy to come
Yeah,
in.
it was here, it was in July.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to fix the problem, but I don't want to fix the problem and create a new one.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a CMT though, and you get your metal detector out and get a good idea where it's down on the north side, and then you're gonna have to dig down, and I don't know I don't know if he replaced his culvert when he replaced his driveway.
It was a gravel driveway, I remember, that house was really, I mean, it
Yeah,
was a really
it
nice
looks
driveway.
good now.
It was pretty bad.
But, I mean, I don't think what he did necessarily, I don't think you necessarily have to redo the swale. I mean, you're likely gonna have to do it to some extent, because your catch basin's gonna be lower in the road.
Yeah.
And just dig back west, but I don't think it has to be nearly as deep as it was. But it does help to get the water off the road as well. It's a brand new, I mean, we just repaved it last year, so it
That's
would
the
be nice to
reason why I don't want
clear
to
it.
go across.
Yeah.
It's just pretty bad.
Yeah.
I have no idea how good that CMP is though. It very well could be an old guy. Cause I know there's a CMP up at the intersection of 141st that needs to be replaced as well.
Yeah, that's the one, we jetted
replaced
that
that?
out, fixed it,
Okay,
and we ended up reestablishing the ditch the guys across the street, because it took the water from hers and now it's going in his, but his culvert pipe's taller than the ditch line, so, but he was out there when we did it, he didn't say anything to us, so.
yeah, we noticed that when we were paving it.
But we ended up, and when we put riprap around the corner, because all the garbage trucks are going over it.
Okay.
And then we put riprap on her side too, to get the water out of her yard. That we did a couple months ago.
Okay.
But I didn't want to start digging it up, because we just repaved that road.
Yeah, I would dig up on the north side of the road, try to find the north end of it and go from there. And hopefully, I think it's a metal pipe, so.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing we could do is jet it out, and once we jet it, the jetter will find its way and shoot a hole where it's at. I just hope it's not all the way up by his house.
I don't think
I'm hoping not.
I mean, he's got some fall, so he should be okay.
Yeah. This town's full of surprises, you never know.
It's true.
That is a very true statement.
In my notes, I have it as Rick Halpin was here that day.
Well, he's the owner, yep.
So he was the owner that came in, so whoever lived in there
really complaining about it.
Yeah, I mean,
You can tell, these are brand new aerials on the GIS now.
yeah, they just
Dark.
revised them.
Yeah, they're this year, so. It's dark.
So I mean, we could try looking, we'll go back and look to see where the end of that pipe is, and then we'll go from there. And I'll have to get with you to figure out which way you wanna go with it.
Probably gonna be deep enough, you probably can't just do a typical yard drain.
Mhm.
Or maybe the yard drain and then some type of barrel section on it, but we'll see how deep it is too.
Yeah, because it's actually higher than the road now, because I was looking at it today, and Tyler and I we were walking on Bridge property lines, and it's, his yard and neighbor's yard are like even now, but you can tell they're higher than the road, so.
Yeah. So, we'll have to reestablish it a little bit just to get water off the road.
And then I know across the street where it V's, right next to the park, they have a couple culvert pipes, and then you lose it, like halfway going up Cottage or Highland, you lose it, so,
Okay, there's just some old pipes back here.
yeah.
So, we'll see what we got.
All right, keep that on Public Works projects. Moving on to new business.
Okay.
Oh,
Two things for you. Sorry they didn't make the new business list. One's actually from Wendy, the email about the November meeting date, potentially needing to, or having to move that because the elections will be held in this room here on that Tuesday, and unfortunately, elections take priority over stormwater. Same thing with the Monday before, they will be setting up in this room, so this room will not be available for the Monday, the 7th. So we'll have to find a different date to have this meeting, or potentially cancel it as has been done in the past.
Or you can do it Wednesday of that
Certainly.
week.
Yeah,
I will be out of town that week.
Well, the plan commission meets on Wednesday, right?
yeah, the following week, you wouldn't be able to,
Yeah,
because the plan commission,
Could do it ahead of the plan commission meeting.
there's on-tape building board before that, so you won't be able to. The week following, you've got Tuesday and Wednesday booked for this building, or this room here. You could do it Monday the 14th, possibly Thursday the 17th, or the 18th, if you're looking at that following week. And the week after that is much worse.
Yeah.
And I know Randy complained
Yeah.
when the storm board did meet there for a while,
Yeah, it was a couple months.
and he said, you need to reschedule.
Well, we don't have a December meeting, so
No.
we've historically not had a December meeting.
So the 14th, I'm fine, Monday, Thursday, I'm fine. Everybody else,
Whenever Wendy tells me to go, I go.
That's right.
I'll be out of town on the 17th. 14th, good for me then.
How about the 14th?
14th works for me.
Good.
So is it a Monday?
Okay. Same time, same place. Same smiling faces. The next item, as I kind of mentioned in the previous, we're going through the budgets right now. We have a very rough approximation of what the capital project capacity will be for the storm board next year, and it's going to be somewhere in the area between $100,000 to $200,000, which is essentially maybe 2, possibly 3 projects. Caveat on that is, because this is a utility-funded board, these are cash-flowed projects, meaning that this money will not be available in the beginning of the year. This money is going to be largely more available towards the end of the year, because people have to pay their stormwater bills for us to accumulate that sum of money that would then be available for capital projects. So you're looking at these projects being available closer to the middle to tail end of next year. You could do smaller projects earlier and wait for the larger cash to stockpile up to do a larger project or more expensive project towards the end of the year.
And as we get new residents and new businesses, that increases the stormwater funds.
Certainly,
What is, I haven't looked at my bill in a while.
$10 a month.
$10 is that?
On residential.
Okay, all right. And what have we had for starts every year in the last few years? I mean, new housing starts, it's been robust.
Last year was nearly 400, the year before that, I think, was in the high 300s.
Okay.
We estimate all of our budgetary things off of 200 permits, because we like to be very conservative, especially in times like the 2008 redo.
So it could be 30 to 40,000 a year in revenue, I'll call it revenue.
Potentially, there are some
Per month.
stormwater, I believe there are some subdivisions that may be coming online that have some built-in reduced ERUs for stormwater rates
But-
because they overcapacity their system.
But that revenue then is not necessarily all geared toward this, that's gotta pay for the operating expenses of the,
Yes,
whatever, so.
and so that money that we're freeing up, that rough approximation that I gave you, is largely because the town council will be taking a larger share of employee salaries out of the stormwater utility budget and moving it into their budget.
Gotcha.
So that's how we're freeing up that money. So just so you also to be aware, the council, that's why we're waiting for their budget to be approved, so we know how much we're taking out of operating maintenance from your budget to theirs. So we want you to focus on some capital, because we want you to focus on some capital projects. And I'll probably ask for a work session in the winter months. We don't have to do it in November by any means, because the council will just be getting the go-ahead from the state whether or not our own budget has been approved. But December, if we want to have a December work session, or January, February, I can early 2023, so that way we can start picking which of these projects, which are pretty substantially ready as far as we may need to go and get some easements, but we're largely waiting for funding at that point for you guys to say this one, that one, and this one, and in that order. And then as money becomes available, we start pulling the trigger on projects.
And we've got a budget for most of the things we wanna do, we talked about that before.
Yep.
Okay.
So we can put a list together for the November meeting if you want. That'll give us a good jumping off point for 2023.
Yeah, and I know we've internally kind of have our own list of rolling projects and things like that that need to be at some point identified or made a priority. There's no shortage of projects, only shortage of funding.
Woods of Cedar Creek, do we got,
They're on the list here.
yeah, but do we got all the easements?
We're not gonna touch the easements until we get closer to doing the project, because I don't want people to move and then have to go back and get them. So we're gonna do one hard push for easements when we get close to that project being let,
That's one issue.
and we'll then collect all the remaining easements that we need.
In case you get new residents.
Yep.
And that job is not being done by Public Works, correct?
That'll be done by administration staff at the town hall, the easement collection.
No, I mean the project itself, the construction.
Oh, that I imagine probably,
Probably not.
Probably
First
not.
one wasn't, first phase is not.
Okay.
Yeah, it was contracted out.
We still have 4 contractors that we use, that we're supposed to have a list of 4 contractors that we...
Pre-approved contractors?
Yeah.
Pre-qualified?
Yeah, I believe Tim has that list.
I think there's 3 or 4.
Do we have to renew them?
Metro even operating anymore?
I think when they renew their
B&D
contractor's
now. B&D
license
kind of,
at the
sort of
building
retired.
department, that's
B&D,
how they renew it,
and
just by staying current with the town.
Up on 41.
PGX?
Oh.
I can't
West side of the street, South 231.
Yeah.
I can't
remember now.
Milestone?
Huh?
Is it Milestone?
No, it's smaller, like, starts with B, maybe.
Not Boone,
No, I don't know.
We don't use them.
They're up there.
I mean, that's electric.
PGX is our go-to job.
Not Beeston.
Huh? No.
You'll think of it on your way home.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, Manager Salatas, thank you very much. I think that is a great way of being proactive and being able to plan that out, because that was not made available in years prior.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the projects that we have, that we're doing, that
probably will go over a certain amount of money we need to get with you guys to let you know, instead of just, you know,
Yeah,
keep pushing them on the back burner.
yeah, I can't fix what I don't know about.
Exactly.
That's not to say I can fix it if I know about it, but, you know, the old adage, squeaky wheel gets the, grease,
Yeah.
holds true, it's timeless. We've been hearing you. But yes, so I do plan on, as, again, once the council's budget's unrolled, would like to have our financial consultants in here to kind of explain your budget, to go over what it looks like. Should be substantially the same from the year previous. I do know we wanted to, as part of the council taking on some of the larger expenses for employee salaries, we did want to, in one change we went and made in the budget right now, or was pinned it in, is we increased the line item for miscellaneous public works supplies from $20,000 to $50,000 for things like culverts, cold patch, you know, whatever we run into while they're doing their projects, so that way we don't stall out, as you just mentioned, because we do seem to do quite a lot of stormwater work in-house. But again, that'll all be shown to this board, and you know, I'd like to seek your approval on it when that time comes.
A lot of good stuff going on, seriously.
We've got a couple things going on,
Couple.
couple things. We're in the top 10 fastest growing communities in the state.
I would like to know what they're doing on Klein Avenue, the county.
I have no idea.
Well, that, when you come south on Klein, or when you used to come south on Klein, the brush, the trees
yeah.
were overhanging I mean, I would think that, I would always worry that my side mirror was gonna get taken out, because it was hanging into the roadway that much, so I know that was, I'm sure people were complaining about that, so.
Yeah, I drove it Sunday because they opened the road up, and my grandkids had ice skating in Hammond, so I took that and I didn't see anything.
They're just, on the left side, they're
completely
clearing all
closed,
that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're repaving it or not.
We
No.
get complaints and calls to the town hall, and we've gotten a request from several residents for us to provide them the master list of all road paving in the county, which includes the state, the county, ourselves, and other municipalities. We don't have that list. We are only concerned with our own paving, and if the other agencies notify us that they're doing work, it's only, it's basically them doing us a service. And they don't
We
have
share
to.
that.
Yeah, we try to coordinate as best as possible, so they return the favor on their side.
And then on North Parish, they're doing
That's
something too.
That's the railroad.
Yeah.
That's railroad work, the crossing.
And
The
Railroad
crossing.
crossing?
then NIPSCO's doing utility work, it's crazy.
We effectively have Lake County shut down.
Yeah.
Well, it's just hard to go north of town unless you're on 41.
Yeah.
Or you go all the way
Just
around
wait.
to Crown Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
And then
Yeah, no,
there's
that's-
the regular-
that's-
yeah.
I'll be able to go south next week.
Next year, we can't go on 41 either.
And 9 Mile shut down until the fair opened.
Yeah.
Jenkins is the other contractor.
Jenkins.
I have
Was
to
it
look
on
her,
a B?
it's gonna drag me nuts. Not a,
Not
not
a
a
small
no.
one on the west, yeah.
The letter, but.
Oh,
The
Jenkins
first
still
part of
has
the
it,
alphabet.
yeah.
That's all I had.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think we would be all in favor of having a work session.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do it right before a meeting,
Yeah,
we can just do it an hour before, I can
Yeah.
coordinate that.
If you're bringing dinner.
perfect.
Okay.
It's not in the budget.
Chris is paying, I'll grab it.
Oh, there you go. You can get an ice cream cake.
Yeah. The Buffalo's good.
Yeah, I like Boston Papa.
We all fall asleep
A
up
little
there.
healthier.
Okay, moving on to public comment. Just a reminder, please state your name and your address when approaching the podium. No clarifications on anything that was related to Cedar Lake, or Cedar Creek?
I'll ask off the record. I got
Okay, all right, well, thank you very much, everyone. We're gonna end tonight at 7:10.
7:10.